Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Bombers Blitz on the College Football Mafia Network. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown, and I'm not wearing my hat. Should I grab it? Do you guys know what school I represent? Shoot. Oh, well, who the hell cares? Appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm very grateful for the time that you guys spend with me. Saturdays, again, not normal, but the last 2 weeks during the week, we've had stuff come up that really didn't fit into a normal show schedule. So I appreciate you guys being with me tonight. Make sure you, or this afternoon, I should say, make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and turn on those notifications so you know when our shows and when our news items go out. Certainly, we can't do that if you're not being notified. So turn on those right next to the down on the middle of the page. Hit the little bell icon below the description. You should be able to be subscribed and notified on YouTube, and then on Twitter, you can just click on B12 Mafia. You can go in, click that notifications on, and there you go. That's another way to go. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I keep saying tonight. I'm not used to these day shows. I apologize. Today. So what we're talking about today is the topic du jour, as it were, if we were in France, related to recruiting. And what is recruiting anymore? Is it fair that there's people that have deep pockets and others that don't? Is fair even a thing? Everybody knows that I don't believe in fairness. My fairness is you go out and make your own luck. That's it. It's merit based. If your program wants to stay relevant, it's going to have to find money. It's going to have to find money from all different sources, from revenue sources at the school, from boosters, NIL payments, so you can subsidize the recruiting classes for your different schools. And the schools that are doing it best are the ones that are going to be rewarded the most. Those that aren't doing well or have a little bit of an inferiority complex are screaming and yelling about tampering. They're screaming and yelling about the College Sports Commission and the Deloitte clearinghouse and enforcement, all this other stuff. I don't believe in a ton of that crap because one, BYU is doing things right, and I can cheer for that. But two, because I don't think it's the way football's ever been. And all we've done now is just course corrected where any school now can get into the game. Really quick, talk about Sacramento State. I don't know if you follow them on Twitter, but they signed a 4-star receiver yesterday. Sacramento State, who's not even playing FBS. Right now, they're still stuck in FCS limbo because the NCAA won't give them a ticket to the FBS. Sacramento State now has a better recruiting class than all of the Pac-12. It's in the 50s. We're talking about 2026, by the way. Let's get the year right. Next year, if Sacramento State was in the Pac-12, it would have the highest recruiting ranking. That was yesterday. As is possible, somebody might have picked up somebody, Boise State or something. And they were like 52 or 53. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how these reporting agencies, these rating agencies pick one player over another, and they give them all these ratings. We're going to jump through here with Texas Tech tonight. But it doesn't make a ton of sense to me that a Sacramento State can do that, yet can't play FBS football. And you have other FBS programs that have been in power leagues forever that are just cashing checks. As well, you would say they're milking their fellow conference mates. So what's fair? What's fair to you guys? Right? I'm not here for me. It's not just about me talking. A bomber is simply asking the world, what do you want your school to do? Let me give it to somebody who, if you're a fan right now watching and your school isn't so much in the NIL huge booster dollar space, if you had those booster dollars, what would you be saying right now? You wouldn't be complaining about it. So let's do merit-based work. If your university wants to be big time, go and be big time. Raise the money, sell licensing, sell your t-shirts and hats, whatever it takes, but you got to do something. You got to do something to stay up. And I'm not talking about the media dollars either. This has nothing to do with media dollars. This is the conferences have these schools in them. They're not trying their hardest to stay up. I'm just telling you right now, by 20, 30, 31, if you're not in that upper crust, you're not going to be playing big time football. That's my opinion. I think there is a divide coming. And if you're not doing it now, you might get screwed out later. And I think that's what Texas Tech is doing. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Texas Tech, I'm going to run through the facts, and then I want to hear from you guys. Hopefully, I've got phone calls working. I played with it for about 2 hours today. I think I've got it working. If it breaks, what the hell? There's nothing I can do about it. The other thing I need to warn everybody about is Twitter X has been screwing up on StreamYard. If that happens, I might have to drop the X feed and just go with YouTube. I'd rather not do that. I like being on both, but I might have to drop the X feed and just go with YouTube. Not because I want it that way, but because X is not working and I don't want it to shut the show down like it did yesterday with Moen trying to get in and out of his own show. So before I get to the facts and everything that's going on with Texas Tech, let me do some quick shout outs. Daniel Gygash checking in saying hi everyone. Daniel's a contributor and also a member of the College Football Mafia family. Bob Swinger checking in, Penn State in the house. Hi everyone, good to have you here, Bob. Another member of the College Football Mafia family. BYU football, that would be Shonsky. Good to see you, Shonsky. Hi everyone, another member of the College Football Mafia family. Clint Moses representing the great state of Oregon and Oregon State Beavers, saying howdy. Good to see you, Clint. Rock and rant. There is no crying in football. Well, there is. Rock, you and I both know it. We've seen it. Rock is a contributor around here. Also does the College Football Express show with the Mighty Flow. You guys, if you've not already subscribed, over on YouTube, look up College Football Express. Their show will pop up. Hit subscribe, and then make sure you follow Rock and Rant on Twitter. Great stuff over there, and we love to promote them, guys. Great to see you, Rock. Let's see here. Coy checking in. Good to see you, Coy, saying hey all. Clint Moses says, go Southwest Texas State. Go Southwest Texas State. I'm glad you mentioned that because I would have forgotten. Really quick, silent word, not word, just silence for what's going on in Central Texas right now with the flooding and all those families that have lost children, but not only children, obviously. It's a complete disaster. The weather that's sitting over them, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. So please, if you can, look them up on Red Cross, donate blood, whatever you can to get them support because they're going to be looking for help for many, many weeks going forward. So my heart and prayers are with you, and I hope everybody else can recognize that and do what they can to help. So Kerrville, I think, is the name of the main town that was affected, but there were like 5 towns that were completely wiped off the face of the map. So anyway, let's see here. Daniel says fairness has never existed in college athletics. Even 100 years ago, players went to the best schools. Today is no different. You could not be more right, Daniel. Jackson Johnson, another contributor, somebody that has helped us with moderation around here. Good to see you, Jackson. What's up, College Football Mafia Nation? Great to see you. He says 7 more Saturdays till week 0. Woohoo! What we need to do is do a drive to make week 0 the start week for everybody. Let's just move it back a week. Help us so that we're not playing college football into the middle of January. Ryan Willie checking in. Good to have you here, Ryan. Ryan's another member of the College Football Mafia family, saying on Wisconsin. Love to have you represented there, Ryan. Great to see you. And then 5 Adam, roll tide. If you're representing Alabama, make sure you subscribe. Follow us. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. Get involved, man. I need more SEC people around here. We've got a few here and there that pop in, but certainly if you could help us from Alabama standpoint, we'd love to see you. You might know Jackson. He's a diehard Bama fan, so you guys have something in common. But it's good to have you here. Thank you so much. And make sure you do subscribe and stick around. All right, let's get to some facts and figures before we go to the discussion. And we will get to discussion. Let me bring this up. So there you go. All right. Let's see. That's better. Hopefully that audio works. If you guys run into audio problems, tell me. This is what's going on. This was the original report. Can everybody hear me still? We okay? This is the original report that came out yesterday that sent Twitter into a firestorm, right? And might as well make it. Let me make it big. You guys don't need to see me even. And it was a headline and then a link. This is from On3. It's a report, 5-star offensive tackle. Felix Ojo is inked a fully guaranteed 3-year, $5.1 million revenue share deal with Texas Tech per ESPN. And it sent the world into chaos. And I mean absolutely chaotic. People lost their minds over this tweet. And it was because the fully guaranteed $5.1 million, that's it. That's all anybody read. Nobody knew where that money was coming from, and nobody for sure thought it could come out of the regular revenue share at the school. Just couldn't be, right? That's impossible. So everybody flipped out. Texas Tech's got too much money. They shouldn't be able to buy players. The people at Texas were chirping and harping about he wasn't good enough to come to Texas. Well, that's because you lost him. If you were so big, you would have kept him. Other people freaked out because he didn't go to the school that was one of his last 4 visits. Since when is that a rule? That's never been a rule. It's ridiculous for people to even make that contention just because he didn't go on a trip. By the way, he visited Texas Tech 2 years ago. He was like his second offer when he started to play big-time football. So Texas Tech has been in from the beginning. And this $1 million, one, to me, didn't make a difference where the money was coming from. I know that advertising money is going to make it to these players. House is not going to stop money going to the players in big amounts. They're just going to have to do different things to earn it. All right, so let's go back a page. So this was the tweet that sent the world into chaos yesterday. Then we had a follow-up tweet, and I can't remember what the timing is between these two. I want to say there was a 2 or 3 hour gap, and I'll make this big again. 2 or 3 hour gap from the original report, and what it actually says. What are the details, right? Let me bring me back. I don't like that. Well, via Pete Nakos and the agent of the player, I'll talk about that in a minute. It was paid out. It's going to be paid out in 3 different installments. But it's not all just coming from one source. 1.2 million, 1.6 million, 2.1 million. Those are amounts that they say were guaranteed, but that's not actually true. It's $775,000 per year that's guaranteed. 771 million. If he meets all his escalators, and we don't know what those are. Most pancake blocks, I don't know. The more places he visits in his car. I don't know what those escalators could be, but whatever they are, they're wrapped up in these numbers. 1.2, 1.6, 2.1. Later revised to 2.2. So that, again, is more information, right? And people are still upset saying, where's this money coming from? $775,000. You don't have that to spend. Look what you just did at Texas Tech. You built an entire softball team off of nothing but NIL. How could you possibly have money left? Well, let's talk about how much money they have. They have $20.5 million they can use. Right? And these are 2026 recruits. So is everybody starting to see how what was originally the big sky is falling moment ended up being just a big ball of nothing? Because people didn't bother to learn the facts first? Drove me nuts yesterday. I'm sorry. This drove me nuts yesterday. I wasn't going to do a live show yesterday because I was a little heated, but it's ridiculous. These players deserve to get paid. Why is it up to you how much they get paid? Or if you get paid at all? That has nothing to do with the fans. And don't come at me with, I see this and I expect that. That's a bunch of garbage. If you're an analyst saying that crap on Twitter, you're just doing it for clicks. because it has absolutely no data in it. You just assume certain things about where the money's coming from and how it's going to be spent. Okay, so we originally started 5.1 fully guaranteed over 3 years. Then we found out, oh wait, notice a second, it's broken out in year 1, year 2, year 3. Obviously, he's not going to get paid if he leaves or transfers early. So that money is nice, right? You're thinking, okay, that's how it's paid. That's how it's broken out. All right, let's move on, and we can just sort of focus on the money itself. No. It's $775,000 is fully guaranteed. And by the way, I'll say one more thing on this. The fully guaranteed contracts is the newest way to provide something that your competitor might not be doing. You might offer the exact same amount of money, but if you're not guaranteeing money for these players, as long as they stay at the school, you're not going to get the recruit. If the argument is recruits are going to get there and they want to be paid while they're still in school, just in case they get hurt, then that's the storyline, right? They get in, they sign it, they get their upfront money, whether they get hurt or finish or don't finish. But the money's there already. Okay, so we'll jump back in time a little bit further. Sorry, forward in time. So we had the first report, didn't have much information. Fully guaranteed is all we got in the amount. Second report, we got, here's the breakout. 1.2, 1.6, 2.1. Regular, it was revised later to 2.2. Okay, now let me get to the last, and this is where you see all the, now the whole picture is complete. Now the whole picture is complete, and I'm going to make this big. I thought I could make it big. I don't know why it's not working. I'll have to go with that. So last tweet from Pete Nakos again, and I'm going to, let me post his link to all of his, this is to the entire thread. Let me put that in the comment section. There you go. All right, so let's just read this entire thread. The guaranteed share revenue amount is roughly half. Guaranteed is roughly half the 5.1. So now it's not even the amounts that he mentioned in the tweet below, is it? 1.2, 1.6, and 2.2 doesn't end up being the guaranteed amount. Somebody check me, but if half of the amount is guaranteed, that's roughly 2.6 million. And I believe that's something close to $775,000 a year. Oh, wait, I could have read that and you would have known, right? But for those people who are hard of understanding because they can't read tweets. The numbers below include incentives, and if the deal is renegotiated, and that would be if he does really well, he's going to want more money at the school. Was also told Texas Tech softball helped pull off the deal financially. I tried to chase that down. I have no idea what that means. If anybody has a link to the description or can just post what the verbiage is in the comment section, tell me what this means. This helped Texas Tech softball helped pull off the deal. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means some of the players that are on softball gave some of their money back. I would find that hard to believe because women don't get paid anything. For them to get what they were getting, I don't think that's where the money's coming from. But anyway, I don't know. But that's the details. So what do we find out? 2.6 roughly is guaranteed, not 5.1, and it's paid out over 3 years. And there's other things that you can do to improve that contract, which is essentially what it is. It's a contract. Okay, so that blew up the internet yesterday. We started with this complete freak out at the very beginning, and as the day went down and day went down and day went down, by the end of the day, when this last tweet went out yesterday at 2:57 p.m., everything had been unwound. We later found out that $775,000 was coming from regular revenue share, the $20.5 million they can now spend. Make sense? Everybody with me? All right, so I'm going to take a second here. There's one other item, and then I will get to some of your comments. By the way, tonight, if you would like to leave a comment or question, please do that in the comment section. You're always invited to do that. We take super chats, as we just got one here from Peek Around the Corner. Greg Flugar is in the house, and I'll read that in just a second, Greg, I promise. So super chats we always read, and then we defer to member comments. I really want more members back as we move into getting prepared for the season. We're not going to be doing as many of these large events where we get a ton of super chats. I'm looking for more members again. Let's build those back up. So if you've let your membership lapse, consider resubmitting or giving a gift for other people to become members, because we're going to start plowing into members only content in the next few weeks. Anyway, really quick, first let me read the super chat so Greg gets his credit. Thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for all you do and all the support you've provided us, man. It's been fantastic, your help. Great job, Nathan. Will Red Raiders become Big 12's Cornhuskers? Plenty of off-season victories, but not contending for conference championships. Is this the start of the rise of the Red Raider Nation? You could not, for one thing, thank you, Greg. You can't know how much that means to me to have you say that. Two, yeah, I think it is. I think, no, sorry, let me back up. I don't think, again, let me reverse. You're saying Nebraska did good in the Big 12. I'm going to say yes. They did do good, and I do believe Texas Tech can get there, but they have to sustain success, right? You and I both know that. But to the world, if you're watching on Twitter or whatever, for Texas Tech to close the loop on all this recruiting, and there's a bunch of it. I'll get to that in just a minute. To close the loop on recruiting, they have to win games. They have to win football games. So, and Texas Tech is underperformed. I mean, there's not a Texas Tech fan that will tell you they glory in their past history. It's been a while since they've won 10 games. But I think they have potential to do that. Just maybe stack 2 or 3 years. Who knows? They could turn around and be Arizona State this year. I'm not going to rule Texas Tech out. BYU has to play them in Lubbock, and I'm not looking forward to that game. I'm afraid BYU is going to get thumped, but Texas Tech is coming to play. So everybody knows you're on notice. Greg says the Big 12's Cornhuskers, that absolutely could happen. Yep. Appreciate you, Greg. Thank you so much. Let's see here. One last thing I want to read, and then I'll go back and we'll go through some of your questions before. Nope, that's not true. I got to get to this one of the list. I want to run through all the recruits that Texas Tech has picked up in the recent past. But this quote from Mitt Winter, I hope you know who Mitt Winter is, legal expert, shares his time and energy on Twitter. He's become one of our consigliaries around here on the College Football Mafia Network. So if you don't know what that is, go to our main video library after this show. Just stay on the main College Football Mafia page and just look for the consigliaries. Go to the live shows. You can see them. Mitt hasn't been on a live show with me yet, but he gives his advice in that group all the time. This is the last thing I'll say about signing dates and how they go effective. August 1st, prior to an athlete's senior year of high school, is when schools can begin giving written NIL offers. I asked him when those contracts were actually due and when can they be signed and executed. Can't sign those or financial aid agreements until the signing period begins. That signing period is December 3rd through 5th of this year. I didn't have time to follow up with him, but the next question I would like to know is, but we have states that they're already paying high schoolers. That has nothing to do with college at all. So maybe he's just saying, as it relates to college football, this is how it works, and that high school is dealt on a separate thing. That's my guess, is how they're handling high school stuff. But those are the dates that really make a difference. Okay, August 1st is when the 2026 people, that's when they can get their written NIL offer. They can't do anything until the signing date, 3rd through 5th of December. So there is a time period there where in the next 6 months, if you guys don't think that people will be recruiting against all these athletes who technically haven't signed anything yet, they've gone on YouTube or whatever, and they've gone on Twitter and made their pronouncements, right? They could change their mind. like that. There's nothing tying him to it until they can actually sign the agreement. So I found that fascinating, by the way. Okay, let me see. There was two other things I wanted to get to really quick. We're going to run through and I'll make this big again. So this is the right here. This is the recruiting rankings for Texas Tech for 2026. And if this doesn't blow your mind to how well Texas Tech has done, I don't know what you can say about that. For 2025, let me just show you what the 2025 overall rank for Texas Tech. If it'll change for me, there we go. What is it doing? Stop moving. Their composite rank is 48. But they have a really good transfer rank of number 2. So in the last 12 months, they've got a good composite rank, but their transfer rank is very, very high. If we go up and we look at 2026, and my screen is not working the way it's supposed to. What's it doing? Sorry, I don't know what it's doing there. It's got to be this thing. Right now, their overall rank is 24. And they don't have a transfer rank because the transfers don't come in until next year. Let's just quickly go over who those are. Felix Ojo, 5-star. I'm going to make myself bigger here so you guys can see me. Felix Ojo, 5-star. Not only is that a win for the Big 12, for Texas Tech, it's a huge perception win for the Big 12. Massive. Just like BYU's late recruiting in June, there's more of that coming up next week, by the way. This is what Texas Tech is doing in July. So Felix turned down multiple Division I, top of the top, Alabama, Georgia, whatever. He's number 9 in the nation in all recruits. So 5-star, Felix Ojo. And then Savorian Martin, I guess. He's a 3-star. That doesn't seem right to me. Nope, this isn't giving me. Okay, earlier it was showing me the 4 stars that it committed. I don't know why it's not showing me those now. There's 4 other 4 stars that Texas Tech has signed. Something's going on with the website there. I don't know what's happening here. But they're not showing all the no, I don't know why it's not showing it. So is this it? Is this the reason? Yeah, that might be the reason. Commits. Yeah, here you go. See, I knew it was in there somewhere. Felix Ojo, 5-star. Ashton Rowden is a 4-star. He's a running back. Donovan Webb is a cornerback. He's a 4-star. Savorian Martin is a 3-star, and he's a cornerback. Tyson Edgewoko. He's an edge, a 4-star, 3-star, and it just goes down the line. 3-star, 3-star, 3-star. They've got more in the loop too. There's more of them coming. There's more of those coming for Texas Tech. Texas Tech is doing a fantastic job recruiting. Now I want to hear what you guys think about how they're doing. Let's get to comments, and I'm going to work backwards because I'm not sure who's still here and who isn't. So we'll just go with the most recent. Jason Spangler says the Ojo signing pushed Texas Tech above Kansas in the 26 rating. Yeah, they went right by BYU too. They're now 24th. BYU's 26th or 27th, and Kansas is below BYU. I think another 2 or 3 spots. But yeah, it did. It took them down in the 40s up to 24. MBM, good to see you, MBM. Thank you so much for being here today. Another member of the College Football Mafia family, both he and Jason Spangler. ESPN will make recruits drop a star going to Tech. Just watch corruption at work. I said this on Twitter yesterday, and don't have time to go into it today. But Jeff Fuller went back and looked at the data. He's a data hound. And the Big 12 in general, when they lose a player to, say, a Texas, they usually go up half a rank. So if they were a 3, generally they make it to a 4 by the time they hit Austin. The reverse is not true, or the reverse is true, that from Texas down to Texas Tech, they lose a half a rank. There is no accountability for the recruiting rankings. RPI, FPI, I don't care what RPI, what PI you're using. ESPN, the whole thing's corrupt, and I absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate the way it's coming out. So NBM's got the finger on the pulse right here. Let's see. Go Black 45. Good to see you. Go Black has one of the best names there in social media. There we go. At Bomber, see your Duke lawyer boy is falling all over himself on X because of the ACC settlement. Yeah, boy. For one thing, he's not my boy. David McKenzie doesn't report to anybody. Last time I checked, he is having a bit of a difficult time because during the court case, or at least the pre-court case, Florida State and Clemson, he was all over saying ACC was going to win that court case. They were going to win. They were going to win. Then there was the ACC settlement at the end of January this year, and a bunch of information came out about that. And he's like, well, maybe it's not too bad. Well, then information came out in the last 2 days that said essentially that anytime in the next 2, 3, 4 years, Florida State and Clemson can pretty much do whatever they want in the ACC, including blow the thing up, and there's not much anybody can do about it. There's more detail on that. I haven't gone into it yet, so I would point you to Peek Around the Corner, Greg Pflugar's show. He covered it in depth the last 2 days. I haven't had time to get to a show on it. I will. I'll eventually cover it, but that's where I would go right now if you want more information on that. Good to see you, Go Black. D. Wayne, good to have you here. Make sure you guys are subscribing on YouTube for me too, please. 2025, they had number 1 or number 2, just spending which place you look at it. Just spending which place you look at it. I'm not sure what that meant. But yes, they were number 1 or number 2 in the transfer class, D. Wayne, not in the original recruiting rankings. You're talking about the transfer class. But yes, they did. They've blown it up, frankly. Wet Blanket. It's been a minute, Wet Blanket. Good to see you. I missed you, brother. Moen, let's go. He's saying hi to Moen. Almighty Finn. Bob Swanger, it's slow today. I'll be off earlier than usual, but I don't get off work last night till 11:45. You should be in bed then, huh, Finn? Let's see here. You guys are always so good with comments. Moen After Dark. Obviously, partner in crime around here at the College Football Mafia family, saying Oklahoma State will win the Big 12 and make a playoff run. Pflug sealed it, and I believe what Greg Pflugar said is they're going to struggle. So we will see. We will see. Get to a few more comments here. Rob Ellen says he's a clown. Not sure who we're talking about, but I'm guessing David McKenzie, but I don't think he's a clown. I think he is a lawyer, but he has put himself out there with quite a few things. I'm not going to get in the way of defending him, though. Let's see here. Any new comments from people I haven't said hi to? I don't think so. Okay. Nick M. Let's get to Koi. Let's see. Jason Spindler. Greg said he didn't think they would be made public, but hopes they do. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Nick M. Sounds unsurprisingly like how NFL contracts are structured. Yeah. If you're talking about those bonuses that they get, problem is we're talking about athletes that do not, and I want to emphasize, do not have a CBA. There is no union. There's nothing for them to collectively bargain. And it's kind of screwed up. Way kind of screwed up, really. Anyway. All right. I'm going to try this because I'm going to start this feedback stuff. I'm going to try this. By the way, keep your comments and questions coming. I'm going to try to activate phone calls. Okay, I went through and spent some time on it. I hope this works. So I'm going to publish the number somewhere. Okay, the number's right below me here. No, that's the wrong one. Where'd it go? Yeah, it is. The number's on the ticker below my face right now, 801. I don't have it memorized. 801-899-6203. If you want to join the show, do me a favor and be the first one to call in. I'd love to talk to you. Hopefully I can make this work. I did test it, but then the audio kind of went wonky. So I want to make sure it works. So somebody call in. Moen, Flugar, somebody call in and let's test this thing, see if I can make it work. I think I covered all the news I was going to cover. Okay. Nobody wants to call in? Nobody wants to talk to me? What's going on here? I don't quite understand. 801-899-6203. Somebody call me. It should be working. I want to call myself. All right. I'm not going to call myself. All right. Then we're going to jump back to what Texas Tech is doing. Overall rankings. And let me run from top to bottom for the Big 12 because this really makes a difference. All right here. Okay. Bring it up. All right. So here's the recruiting rankings top to bottom for 2026. SC's number 1, Georgia's 2, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. We have to go way down here to get the first Big 12 team, which really sucks. But it's 24 right now for Texas Tech. Okay, 24 is not too bad. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago with BYU and Texas Tech out of it. It was only Kansas, and Kansas was doing a bang-up job representing the Big 12 in that regard. So then we scroll down more. There's BYU. There's Kansas. TCU is next. They're number 34. Let's see here. ASU's number 39. So you start to see West Virginia's 43. So you're starting to see these programs that are in the 30s and 40s for the Big 12, and that's just not good enough. Everybody, that's just not good enough. And then there's Utah at 44, and Baylor rounds out the top 50. So that list is that's pretty crazy that is the that is where we're at right now. Is those recruiting rankings, they need to continue to go up, and I want more schools to do the recruiting like I got my first victim. Make this work.
Call from
Evil Badger.
You there?
Hey, Nate, it's Evil Badger.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All right. Can everybody hear us, by the way? Somebody tell me if you can't hear us on the YouTube page. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, the one thing I'm concerned about is if a player that's getting less or no money from the rev share gets jealous of a player that's making a lot of money. I'm afraid that there are some players that are going to go after the trying to injure the 5-star, 4-star that's getting a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's just going to lead to jealousy. And this is why I wish college football could have stayed the way it was back in the 80s and 90s. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on the college or universities to spend even more money.
For one thing, you're right. That is exactly what's going to happen. And for those that don't know, next year the revenue share number is going to go up. So schools are going to continue to be able to pay more and more players more and more money. But what you're saying is absolutely true. And it could happen that we lose sight of where we were in the 80s and 90s. And now winning a championship looks completely different, right? To get there,
right,
schools and people are going to have to spend a lot more money than the old system. But the old system, and I think you know this from me, the old system is broken. It needs to be revised. It needs to be fixed. But the House settlement has so many flaws in it. I just don't know how we can get away from that. You know what I mean?
And I believe there's going to be even more lawsuits. So I don't know how this is going to get resolved.
You're exactly right. There will be. And they'll continue until Congress does something. There's no doubt.
All right. Well, I was gonna say one more thing. No super league, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Evil
All right.
Badger.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for calling,
All right.
brother. We'll see ya.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Evil Badger gets the inaugural phone call, and I'm going to give him a clap. That was fantastic, Badger. Thank you so much. I was always jealous that Greg got to talk to you and I didn't. So thank you so much for being the very first one, the inaugural. You're now on YouTube lore. You're the first caller I've ever taken on the show. So thank you so much. Appreciate all you've done for me, your super chats and your memberships and all of your contributions. You've been one of the really, really great guys, and I really appreciate you. All right. Anybody else want to call? Basically, let's go again. 801-899, and what is it? 6203. 801-899-6203. Join me and tell me what you guys are thinking. I will work through comments as I continue to wait for you guys to pop up. I think some of these comments are absolutely fantastic. D. Wayne could not be more right. Not all schools have money like Texas Tech and BYU. You're right, it is. That's true. And you know what? I'm not the dick that says I want my school to have an advantage over you no matter what. I don't want that. But I think there ought to be a way we can meet somewhere in the middle, D. Wayne, where BYU and Texas Tech do well, but maybe not over the top money, right? But schools that maybe can't spend that much money are a little bit closer to where they're at. I don't know how we get there. I wish I did. Nobody listens to me anyway, right? So I think you have an extremely valid point. And I think it's just something we're going to have to watch. But I don't know what Texas Tech fans are saying, but I can speak for probably 95% of BYU fans. One, we're grateful to be in the Big 12. So if you're watching this, you're a Big 12 guy. I have a lot of Big 12 people watching. BYU is very grateful to be in the Big 12, and they don't want to go anywhere today. Right? The only way BYU would leave the Big 12 is if there's something bigger out there that everybody's going to be joining. All right, here's another call. Thank you so much, D-Wade. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Next call.
Call from
SC Red Radiator.
S.
To accept, press 1.
How we doing, brother?
Doing well, my friend. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Say your name again so everybody could hear it.
SC Red Raider.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much. How we doing?
Doing well, doing well. I just wanted to call and make a couple of points about Texas Tech. That I know a lot of schools and a lot of fans are getting mad at Tech for what they're doing, but you really got to keep in mind. I hope everybody remembers that all the big schools in the Big Ten and the SEC have been paying off players for years and years.
Yep.
Dropping bags of money on them, cars, trucks, vehicles, and they've been doing this for years. Now Texas Tech is able to do it legally. And I just want to say that I actually think it's good for the Big 12, and I hope people look at it that way, because as we elevate our program, hopefully other schools and other players will want to come to the Big 12 and play. And my hope down the road is that Tech gets better, the conference gets better, we start whooping up on the Big 10 and SEC on a regular basis. And then when they come to offer us an opportunity to go to the Big 10 or SEC, we say no, and we stay in the Big 12. And then we force the networks to come back to us and pay us more money, because we're going to stay where we are, because our viewership has gone up and we've increased revenue for them. So that's kind of my hope in the direction that we're going with this.
Boy, I love everything you just said. I'm with you. I will just say this: Texas Tech and BYU weren't doing the under the table, and I can't speak for the values at Texas Tech, but certainly at BYU, until NIL sort of became legal, quote unquote.
No,
right?
Texas Tech wasn't. Nobody committed to doing that at Tech.
Right.
We tried to be on the straight and narrow for the most part, and even though we knew Texas was doing it, we knew A&M was doing it, but we just, I guess most of our alumni didn't want to participate in that.
No, I think, that's exactly what's going on. Both, it sounds to me like BYU and Tech waited until it was legal, and now that it's legal, they're just exploiting the rules to their maximum, right? That's what you do with rules. They're bend but don't break, and there's no value assessment in there. There's this lynch mob mentality out there that if your school is trying to better themselves by spending money, heaven forbid, it's the worst thing in the world. When nobody was bitching and moaning, it was Ohio State or Michigan spending the money.
And know this about the Texas Tech fandom and the fan base is that we love the Big 12. We want to stay here. And, the SEC comes calling, the Big Ten comes calling. I hope it's a situation where the smart play is for us to stay where we are.
Yeah, the best thing we could do is go out and win football games, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And increase our viewership because that's
Yeah.
what it's all about. They're paying, a lot of people don't understand what the networks are paying for. They're paying for viewership.
Right.
And these Big Ten schools and the SEC schools, they have so many T-shirt fans, fans that never set foot on campus, never went there, but they're just big fans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have huge followings and huge listeners or viewership. And the Big 12 has a pretty good viewership, but we can't match the Big Ten or the SEC, at least not the big schools yet.
Right.
And we need to get our viewership up. So that's why, things like what Tech is doing, it's going to help the conference overall. And I hope, and what BYU is doing is going to help the conference overall. And I just hope other schools, I think Arizona State, you're going to see them doing it too.
It just takes time, right? We're talking about a 2026.
You just got to get the alumni to fall in line,
That's
to
right.
fall in line and go, hey, wait a minute, because every school's got huge benefactors and alumni and wealthy alumni, and they just got to see the results of when another school does it, and they'll start coming out of the closet and they'll start throwing money at the programs. And then, but the good news is you're seeing more parity across college football than we've ever seen before with this NIL. There's
Right.
a lot of schools, and schools like SMU, people understand SMU is uber wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have more attorneys per college alumni than any school in the country, and they all have tons of money, and they have oil money there too. So some of the schools in Vanderbilt and some of the schools that haven't performed as well in the past, these alumni are wealthy, and the schools that have wealthy alumni are going to start rising up, and it's gonna make things interesting moving forward. And you're going to find out that Alabama doesn't really have as much money as once everybody thought.
Well, definitely we're seeing a trickle down with the talent, right? We're seeing that now where
No question
Big
about it.
12's getting people that they weren't getting 3 years ago.
Players want to play now too. They want to start.
That's it. Yeah,
and they don't have to sit.
That's it. That you've got it. They're gonna, if they go to Alabama, they're third string left tackle. If they come to Texas Tech, they're starting day one. I mean, how do you turn that stuff down, right?
Right.
If you want to plan,
I agree.
You don't turn it down.
Exactly. All right. Listen, have a great weekend.
Hey, you too. Thank you so much for calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later. All right. Bye-bye. I'm going to clap that out. Very good. Thank you so much, S.C. Ritter. Glad to have you here, man. Fun. Clap. Thank you so much. And all of your points are exactly right. I couldn't disagree with anything. And I didn't get to finish this, but the BYU would love to stay in the Big 12 as well. If the money will trickle down, even just a little bit more than it's doing now, the Big 12 can survive. The easiest way for the Big 12 to survive would be to pick up ACC schools if that ever goes the way we want it to. I'm not sure it will anymore, but if it did, a 20-team Big 12 with 4 good schools from the ACC would secure its future. Let's see. Time will tell. Jason Spangler, I didn't get to this while I was on the call, but let's just read it right now. Caller is correct. All Big 12 schools should do everything in their power to make the Big 12 as strong as possible. It's in all of our best interest. Jason, you could not be more right. And that was my mating call yesterday. I was so upset. I'm like, woo, let's pay attention to this. And that is, the better that Texas Tech does, the better the Big 12 does. The more players that are going to want to play at Utah, the more players that are going to want to play at Arizona. If the Big 12 is not getting 4- and 5-star athletes, the competition level can't go up, people won't watch, and the Big 12 will fail. So this jealousy crap where people are frustrated and so they're not getting money, and so that means they have to drag everybody else down, like the crabs analogy, right? Somebody starts to do good, but you pull them back in because they have to be equal with you or else. That's a bunch of crap. And that's why I hope we get to a position where it doesn't matter what anybody says, you earn your way in to whatever could be better than what we currently have in college football. Let's see here. MVM, NIL, rev share, money bags. Nothing matters more than playing time and opportunity. We just touched on that. The name of the game is the NFL. There's no doubt about it. It's exactly right. MVM, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So 801-899-6203. Join the show. Yes, I'm doing call-ins. This is something I've been wanting to do from literally day one. I finally figured out how to do it today, and I'm so happy. So it's pretty remarkable how this technology works, and it gets me going listening to you guys, and I love having these conversations. So if you're watching, first of all, follow me on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. I have got 200 people watching on YouTube right now, and I don't have many likes, not a lot of likes. Get those things up, leave comments or questions, but then subscribe, right? That's how you help me. It's free to you, it's free to me. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Big Lubbock, yes, we are live, brother. You want to join the show? Call. I got my call-ins working. Now that once I've gone call in, I can't go back. I'm not sure this would work with other people on the show. I haven't tested, but yeah, we are live. Lubbock, call me 801-899-6203. Everybody has their opportunity now that doesn't see me on Twitter. Call me now if you want to rip into me. If you go south, I'll just hang up on you. But it's great to have everybody here. Devil Frog, good to see you, Devil Frog. OG in the house. Tech has never won a single meaningful bowl game, but Bandwagon are all ready to give them a playoff bid based on off-season hype. Yeah, how did that work for Oklahoma State and Utah last year? Off-season doesn't mean anything unless you can win games. Just win, stupid. That's what it should be. Just win, stupid. Everybody that's currently trying to be successful, your program needs to win. That's it. Just go out and win. Nobody cares how you do it. Nobody cares. Good to see you, Devil Frog. Nitwit, good to see you, Nitwit. Did you see I sent you a DM on Twitter. Did you see that? Because you never got back to me. I have questions. I'd love to talk to you. 801-899-6203. Join the show. Call me. Talk to me right now. Let's see here. BYU football says these bigger schools are getting irritated with losing some of these high recruits. There's no doubt about it. Texas was all agog yesterday, flipping out about how this player now sucks and they never should have recruited him in the first place and all this other garbage. That's all it is garbage. Jason Spangler, again, a lot of us Texas Tech, we're upset. Seem to have structure or order.
Call from
Spangler.
Jason Spangler.
Hey, brother.
How we doing?
I'm good. You convinced me to give a call.
Thank you so much. I've missed you. I'm glad we can do this now.
Yeah, how's the summer going, man?
Yeah, we're plugging along. Lights are still on. Everybody's healthy. That's all that matters.
Excellent. I got two things.
Okay.
First, I love the beard that's coming in there.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Second, and I was again with the comment that's up there now, and I just have this and I was saying, I'm sure a lot of people noticed it, but on Greg's show yesterday, he didn't think that these rev share numbers were going to be public for people to see, not only other players on within one's team, but just for the fans in general. And I get it, we don't have a say in what any one player is paid, but
right.
Like any other sport, and just to not only confirm that schools are staying within the rules, but also just to hold people accountable. I believe that yes, if you're going to earn money, you need to have some semblance of being held accountable by your fans and your team. So I just wanted to know. I just wanted to ask if you had any knowledge of whether or not we're going to see any of this stuff, or it's all just going to be in the dark.
Right.
So that's all I got.
I'm glad you touched on that, because that was in my show notes, and then I quickly lose my show notes. Again, referring back to the consigliere group, and I know you know who they are. I asked that question specifically and about what is supposed to be shared and what isn't. And normally there's confidentiality agreements in place, so that what we saw yesterday with the Ojo kid, we would have never seen.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I don't get.
Yeah, he did it. Well, that's the question. The lawyers had that question too. Why did they do it? There was only a couple things they posited. One, he did it because he's trying to sell himself.
Sure.
He's trying to say, hey, look, kids, look what I can get you, millions of dollars. Use me as your agent. So that's one reason. The other reason would be they were trying to set a mark at Texas Tech, so that they basically was shot over the bow. Everybody now knows what it's going to be to go to Texas Tech. This is the starting number, and it's going to help set the market. Those are the two ideas that people thought. All the other lawyers thought it was absolutely insane what he was doing. They didn't understand why they were sharing that at all.
I understand that, and I get it. But you know, we've just heard that this in Texas Tech specifically, and I'd like to reiterate, I'm a fan of Texas Tech. I don't have anything, but the numbers we're seeing come out of that school specifically seem to be much larger than, you know, if you just do a quick look at the math, if they've committed $10 million to transfers already, and they have this softball team, and now I just like, why can't we just see a simple table that says, okay, we paid all these players out this amount, so you've got another 300, you know, I don't know, 400 athletes for a specific school that are going to have to fight over the remaining $8 million. It just seems very weird that all of that's just between the schools. And I get that there's a structure in place that all that has to go through, you know, not the NCAA, whatever the group is called. But it just seems odd that we are kind of sitting here just saying, okay, well, he's getting a lot of money. That's great. But what else is left? But anyway, that's all I got. And keep watching. But thanks, bro.
Thank you so much. Great to see you. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh, we keep hammering. Jason Spangler in the house. Thank you so much, Jason. This is just, you guys are so smart. We're near the top of the hour, so I'm going to do a quick reset. Welcome to the College Football Mafia channel. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on X, I'm going to leave that on, but I want you to go over and go to the College Football Mafia page on YouTube and hit subscribe. I have 200 people right now that are watching on YouTube, and I would say good half of those are not subscribed. So if you just haven't subscribed to the show, I don't know why. The content maybe you don't like from me, but the content from Wild Ute University or from Moen Show or from Rock and Rant or from Daniel or anybody else that we have come on, we're the smartest show out there, bar a couple. We do the best stuff. You might not agree with this, but you can't argue with the data that we present. And our data is usually couched, our opinions are couched around data. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Everybody else, welcome to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. And then turn on those notifications. I read all super chats. Another quick reset. And then I defer to member comments, and then I go to general comments. So if you want your comment to be read, make it a super chat, and I'll guarantee I'll read it. Otherwise, you can call in right now, 801-899-6203. Call in, and you can do what Jason just did and tell me what you're thinking. Come in and tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. That's what I've always wanted to have and that I've not been able to do. So I can't, man, I'm serious. I'm all energetic about being able to do this today. Big Lubbock, I thought you were doing something. Didn't you say you were doing something? Everything prior to July 1st was front loaded and does not count towards the 20.5 million. That's actually not true, Lubbock. I found out this week that everything back to June 6th, I think, or 7th, is still reportable. That's something we did not know 2 weeks ago.
Call from
Nitwit.
Nitwit, what are you doing, brother?
Hey, Bomber, just enjoying a nice 4th of July break
Good.
holiday. I hope you have too, man.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yes, we have. What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm just watching this college football recruiting. NIL, I'm with you, man. You know, the market's going to set the market.
Yeah.
And my text on, or my post on Twitter was like, even back on shows with Flugar, like these rules are rules that are they're just, if there's nothing that's going to bind anything together,
yeah,
you can just throw rules at the wall. It's just not going to, you know, if a team's willing to pay, they're going to pay, right?
Yeah,
and
that's true.
What you got to live with. So I'm not like, you know, I'm out there for every school with, you know, kids, get the money you can.
Right.
But this fantasy that, oh, we're going to set these rules and we're going to put these parameters on things,
until we get some type of reality and governance structure, and the schools buy in, and I don't think this house settlement's going to do it. You're not going to get what people think are going to happen. You understand what I mean? I
do.
Rules are rules. You can always go get a lawyer and break the rules. That's
Sure.
been happening.
Well, and
So,
that's going to continue.
I don't know
to
what your
happen.
thoughts are on that.
No, for one thing, I agree with you. Two, I think that rules are rules, and every rule has a way to work around it. We have stuff in our law books all the time that people find ways to work around. So anybody that thinks that House was going to fix that is just being naive.
Right, and that's happened throughout college football,
Of course,
right? Throughout the history, right? The SEC had the bag man.
Right. It's true.
Go down the street to this car dealership. Somebody wants to see you.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what we need to do is the House isn't the fix. That's a federal civil lawsuit. Everybody thinks, wow, it's a law now. It's not a law. It was a lawsuit, and they're trying to fashion rules around the lawsuit itself without having any umbrella protection above it. Something has to happen to pay the players as employees or a CBA, something that they can collectively bargain, and then the schools can institute things like a salary cap. You can start doing comparisons between a QB at Penn State versus a QB at BYU, right? Which is supposed to be paid more. What's their slot for their salary? That stuff everybody needs to know, playing on the same playing field. Right now, the playing field's hovering in the air, and nobody knows how to climb up to it. It's just a big mishmash.
Right, and I think people's fallacy is that this House settlement is going to define what an NIL situation is.
Right.
I can't see in court anybody willing to pay you money for your name and image and likeness, whether they do anything with it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, what's to stop? So
what's illegal about that?
There isn't anything illegal about it. It's against rules, but it's not illegal. Let me ask you this. You saw the Jeremiah Smith. He came out and he says, I'm an Adidas guy. Okay. Big announcement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Adidas player. Well, the rest of Ohio State is Nike. And so the school, Ohio State, said, well, if you don't sign this revenue sharing thing that limits what you do with Adidas, then you can't get any revenue share dollars, and we don't have to play you. That's their threat. Well,
wow.
All the lawyers I talked to said that's completely unenforceable.
Right.
That's not something that they can dictate, because there's no way to collectively bargain those rules in. They're just arbitrarily written into contracts, hoping that nobody challenges them with lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that's ridiculous to treat a star player like that.
Yeah.
Number one. I mean, you're going to have a lot of situations come up. You had seen that LSU wants to put a patch on. Even at the school level, you'll have individual players, like Jeremiah Smith, like you said, have sponsorships from other brands that maybe is not associated with your school. So, like you said, I just don't think there's going to be anything. You cannot limit anything in that realm without it being challenged or lawyers getting involved. Like I said, if anybody wants to pay you for dollars for your name and image and likeness, whether they use it or not, they're just paying for the opportunity to use your name, image, and likeness. And any of these deals can be defined that way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're gonna put a big billboard up and sell, milling equipment, whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
It's just unbelievable. But also wanted to call in and mention your text. I think you and I are kind of on the same page with this thing. I kind of have a special place in my heart for the Pac-12.
Okay.
Nothing against the Mountain West.
Right, of course.
I root for them as well. I think a lot of my Twitter posts are just being into media previously in my career, what I tend to do is go to the local, like the Nevada Sports Net. I don't know if you do this as well. Some of those people that are close to some of the key leaders, whether it's in a conference or a local school or an AD, you know, when you're, or somebody involved in the NIL collective at a local area, you kind of get the feeling, or you get, you know, things start coming out. People talk to you on X. I'm sure that happens to everybody, but you know, if I hear something from various people, usually it has to be more than 2 people that I know in and around this situation. I'll post it on X. I think that's, you know, fair. I think when I started at a baseline, if the Big East is getting $8 million a school, and they only play basketball, and I actually live in the East, I might have checked out St. John's this year, maybe a couple games. But if you look at that Pac-12 structure, you have the CBS coming in as the core media partner.
Right.
They haven't sold really their late night inventory yet with the Pac-12 After Dark. That's a brand.
Yep.
People know Pac-12 After Dark. Probably, I'm not sure if Fox will pick that up, but I'm not sure why they wouldn't. But you know, somebody's going to pay for that, and like I said, I just kind of put that all together with what I was hearing, getting communications from, and like I said, this isn't like against the Mountain West. It's not that. I mean, you and I could sit there, and if I was UNLV, and this is just my opinion, I probably would have jumped to the Pac-12. But understanding their situation, they have a lot of debt. They're trying to get this big payout. We don't know how mediation's going. If I was a Pac-12, I would just prolong that mediation as long as possible.
Agreed.
Just keep it going.
Yeah.
They don't, because you're going to feel the pain. Like if you don't get that big payout, those promises you made are not going to come to fruition. So, I mean, this is a market, right?
Yeah.
It's a market, and there's entities competing to be big dogs in those markets, and you know, it's like Google versus Yahoo search. You know, like they're gonna battle it out, and we'll find out. Like I don't know if you can look at that market out west and see if it's sustainable to have 2 conferences. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I mean, that's a whole different show. We need to do a new refresh show on the Mountain West and Pac-12 saga.
Right.
New information has come out about that, and I've been planning to do something anyway. So probably in a couple of weeks we'll dive into the Pac-12 and Mountain West. But
cool.
My final word would be, and by the way, thank you so much for the interactions on Twitter. Let's just keep that communication going. I'd love to keep stay on top of what you think you've sorted out and what you're hearing. And I'll combine that with what I know, and maybe we can get even better information to come out. But I will just say this: from the Pac-12 standpoint, they have nothing to gain out with that lawsuit, and just let it run out. Just continue to string that sucker along with continuance and continuance, because eventually the Mountain West is just going to run out of gas. And
that's my thought.
Yeah, and I don't know how. If UNLV is your biggest brand, I don't know what you can say about that conference. So, yeah, it's a tough get. I'm praying for the Pac-12 to get $90 million a year, right? I would love for them to get a ton of money. I'm highly suspicious.
Gotcha, man. Well,
all right.
You take care of yourself.
Thanks for calling in. You bet. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. That would be Nitwit in the house. Penn State Nitwit checking in. Appreciate you, Penn State Nitwit. Find him on Nitwit, at Nitwit on Twitter, I believe. Yeah, fantastic. He's been recently commenting on the Pac-12 Mountain West. Very good information. So follow him, and you can look at his past tweets. All right, really quick. Reset 801-899-6203. Please call the show. I'd love to talk to you. This is a ton of fun for me. and I appreciate it. Any super chats you guys want to give us to keep those lights on? I read those comments. So if you happen to do one of those comments, I definitely will read it. And then, of course, I always encourage people to either become members of the College Football Mafia family or to give gifts that keep on giving, and that would be for people to receive new memberships. So thank you so much for everybody doing that tonight. And right on cue, one of the OG guys we got in the house. That would be Ryan Willie. He's also a member, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really, really appreciate it. Impatiently waiting for College Football 26 to launch on Monday. How many people actually play video games anymore? I haven't done it in years, I can honestly say. So I don't know. But yeah, I know a lot of people are. Good luck, Ryan. You need to look up Moen and kick his butt. That's what I'm saying. And Ute, I think Ute had one last year too. Find him and check him down. He always needs somebody to remind him who's the boss. Appreciate you, Ryan Willie. Thank you so much for your super chat. I will clap you out. You know I don't do sounders, so you just have to take my implicit support and thanks. Let's keep going here. I marked a bunch of comments. I will try to get to many as I can. If I don't read your comment, it's probably because I won't get to it. You'll have to make it a super chat. We've got probably 40 minutes to go. I can talk to anybody on the phone, 801. I cannot remember the stupid number. I need to have it closer on the ticker. 801-899-6203. Call and let's talk. All right. Daniel earlier said, I'm going to have to go. Remember, on Friday, July 11th, our Mad Dog Extravaganza show. They are all going to Moen, Ute, I think Rock and Rant, and Daniel Gygax are all going to be, I don't even understand it, drinking this Mad Dog alcohol. It sounds nasty. I'm glad I don't drink. They're going to do it on July 11th at night. Tune in or don't tune in. I don't know, whatever. I'd love everybody to be there, but I don't know. I'm not into watching people get drunk very much. But it should be a fun show. It should be very entertaining if that's what you're looking for, coming around here for entertainment. Jason, Nike, Adidas, etc. will definitely start suing players that violate existing agreements between them and the school a player plays for. Happened to Jordan in the 80s, more or less. Nike paid fines. Maybe that, I'm just going to take your word for it, Jason. I don't know how that worked with Jordan in the 80s, or for that matter, any other player that's gone in the 90s and whatnot. Fab Five, didn't they all have shoe contracts? I can't remember. Or should have had shoe contracts. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not sure what's going to happen. They're probably going to sue to get their bigger money. It's not going to be coming from the school. Their bigger money is going to be coming from NIL collectives and the shoe manufacturers. So let's Big Lubbock, everything before the court ruling is front loaded and doesn't count towards 20.5 million. And if your school says different, then they will get outsmarted. This has all been master planned. So I'll say this again, Big Lubbock. I checked with the consigliaries, and that's not true. A couple days ago, it was, and I don't have the tweet up in front of me, but it was announced that everything going back to June 6th or 7th, I'm not sure on that, maybe it was the 8th, is reportable. So anything that was done before July 1st, between June 6th and 7th, 8th, whatever that date is, and July 1st is retro. They want those reported into the College Sports Commission and the Deloitte Register. I don't know why. This was news. It was announced after July 1st, so I don't think even schools knew. I don't know how that broke through and people didn't know about it, but it's the way it is. So let's see if schools report that stuff, but they're supposed to. Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Roll Tide Roll. Good to have you represent Alabama in the house. Thank you so much for being here. The guy is considered being raw. He wasn't projected to be a starter right away. He performed badly against elite talent at camps. I'm guessing we're talking about Ojo. Yeah, I don't know. I think if he would have gone to Alabama, you wouldn't have kicked him out of bed. That's my opinion. But you're an Alabama fan, so you're probably speaking for more knowledge. I don't have the information on about Alabama's recruiting, so I can't say. But if I had to guess, a 5-star offensive tackle, they're pretty rare. But I could be wrong. You might be totally right. Big Lubbock, what we don't know is how much of the 5.2 million over 3 years is from NIL and how much will come from revenue share. I don't think you were here, Lubbock, when we covered this earlier. Basically, it was announced that only 775,000 was coming, that was guaranteed, was going to be coming from the school, and the rest of it is like performance bonuses and stuff like that. So only, what does that add up? 2.5 million, something like that, is guaranteed money, and that is 775,000 a year for 3 years. I'm happy to provide the links to those if you want to read those articles. In fact, I'll just take it right now. Pete Nakos is the guy. He tracked it from beginning to end yesterday. I encourage everybody to go and dive into Twitter and read what I'm reading. But the last word I had on it was the only thing that the school is paying right now is the guaranteed 775,000 a year out of the 250 or 20.5 million. So there's still a lot there to spend for the rest of the recruits for 26. I don't know how it all works, but that's what the numbers are being reported. Let's see here. Devil Frog, this season is no different from any other offseason for Tech. Same hype, same lack of substance. Well, I mean, we haven't played a game yet, so I guess that's technically right, but I don't know, Devil Frog. We'll have to see. Well, how about we have that conversation in December? Almighty Finn, can't sleep, Bomber. Got to make that revenue. You're right, Almighty Finn. You do. Join me. Call me right now, 801-899-6203. And let's have a conversation. Appreciate you. Everybody who's called in and those that want to call in maybe a different show, thank you so much for watching us tonight. I hope you've been entertained at the very least. MBM, I'm dumb. Help me with this. How, if at all, were private universities obligated to revenue share? That's a great question, MBM. The only thing I can fall back on is all these schools signed on to the House agreement at the conference level, and because of that, the conferences committed in their names. That must have opened up certain things coming from schools. I know this. BYU wouldn't be sharing that information if they didn't have to. I promise you that. Nobody would ever know. Everybody would keep saying 7 million for AJ DeBonta when that was a huge lie. It was closer to 2.5 million, something like that. The numbers people throw around when they have no idea are just insane. Like everything that we went through yesterday with this kid, 5.1 million guaranteed, no details, just believe it because I said so. And I think that's a bunch of crap. So we'll know soon about the player, but we won't necessarily know about what's disclosed and what isn't, MBM. I think you bring up a very good point. BYU wouldn't do it if they didn't have to. I will tell you that. One more I flagged here. Tech better be careful because if they start having too many hits, they might get poached again. Yeah, that could happen. If I was Texas, I wouldn't worry about him signing this year. I would just say I'll pick him up next year. And that can happen. These kids can change their minds. Take better money other places. It's open transfer portal. D-Wayne, adapt or be left behind. You're exactly right, D-Wayne. There is no doubt about that. Trying to get to new ones. Al Woody, welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon below my picture, next to the subscribe button. Subscribe's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Let you know when our shows pop up, but more importantly, it keeps you in the loop on everything that we are talking about and doing. So if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. Let's see what the first transfer portal looks like in January. Yep. Transfer portal next year could be crazy. Let's say, we'll just talk about BYU. Let's say BYU goes out and does 4-8. I don't think they will, but say they went 4-8. They could lose all their big recruits they got this summer. Like that. Same thing you'd have for Texas Tech. If you get these big name people and you don't go out and perform, you're going to lose them. They'll take the money you gave them up front and they'll run away with it. The other thing people didn't talk about yesterday is that he signed a 3-year deal, this Ojo kid. He committed to 3 years. So I can't remember who the caller was, intimated this, and this is something we could talk about. Call in right now, 801-899-6203. Come tell me what I'm doing wrong. I just lost my, what was I just saying? I hate when I do that. I apologize. I did the phone number and then I forgot what I was going to say. It was something smart, I'm sure. Something to do with players moving. All I'm saying is you got to win or you're going to lose the players that you think you have. That's all I'm saying. That'll come back to me. I promise. It'll pop back up in my consciousness. All right, let's get to some new comments here. Keep them coming, everybody. MBM says commit Ted. Ha ha. Very funny. Steele Austin. Good to see you, Steele. It's been a minute. I miss seeing your name green, brother. I just got to say that out loud. I loved when you remember. He's saying MBM, good to have you here, Steele. Steele, here's my phone number, 801-899-6203. Come on the show. Let's talk Ojo. Let's talk Texas Tech. You're a Utah fan. I know you have opinions. This is what it was, the 3-year commitment. Thank you, Al Woody. He signed a 3-year deal. What that does is it locks him in. He can't just be transferring next year without any recourse for the school. I guarantee you the 3-year deal that Ojo signed had riders in it that said, if you leave this date, you give us back this money. If you leave this date, you don't get this money. All things tied to money in the conference or in the school and the NIL collective, if there is one, they're all going to have things that come through. So if Ojo wants to transfer next year to Penn State, he can transfer, but to do that, he's going to have to give some of that money back. I guarantee you there's performance stuff in there. Thank you, Al Woody, for reminding me. Thank you very, very much. Jason says, but I will pull for BYU to get in. BYU is my second favorite Big 12 team. All I can say is, Jason, you're a stud. Thank you so much. Scholar and a gentleman. I appreciate you being here. I think BYU does okay. We're still working. We're not a fine wine quite yet. Let's see here. Scroll up again. MBM says it's Lil Steele. That's funny. Steele Austin, you came in here and said Texas Tech. Everyone wants to talk about Utah. Join the show. Let's talk Utah. I want people to get involved. Join the show. Daniel Dilly. Good to have you here, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. You're already subscribed. You're a member, valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. And we're doing phone calls today, Daniel. So call me 801-899-62. I just lost it again. I need to fix my reader. We wait for it. Wait for it. Everybody's waiting. It's 801-899-6203. Okay. Daniel says, how fast does the money dry up if Texas Tech doesn't win a national championship in the next 3 years? That's a great question. I can't answer that, but it could. It absolutely could dry up. It could dry up for any school that's getting big recruits now that goes out and lays an egg. I know it affected Utah's. No, for a fact, it affected Utah's recruiting. All right, let's go here.
Call from
Steele Austin.
There we go. Steele, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Bomber?
Thanks for calling. I got this phone stuff to work.
I know. It's a nice new feature you got here.
Well, I'm trying.
Hey, I heard you say to call in. I don't know what we're talking about, but what did you want to talk about?
Well, I started the show. The whole show bump was about Texas Tech and what the money is for and how the narrative changed from the first report yesterday morning to where it ended the mid-afternoon. More information came out and changed a lot of people's minds on the first reports. So you're a Utah fan. I just thought you might have an opinion.
Yeah, well, it just seems like, it sounds like the agent, whoever represented him, wants to have a big splash and get other kids to want to be represented by him as well. It's kind of a business thing for him. So I don't know if the number gets misreported a couple times. Who knows what the real number is? But first of all, congrats to Texas Tech. I mean, big time recruit. I took a look at Ojo. He took a visit to Utah. One of his last. It actually was his last visit. He came to Utah, and he's definitely big time talent. Has all the measurables. I know he didn't perform very well at some recent camps, but huge pickup for Texas Tech for sure.
The numbers that came out and how people reacted to him, sort of the fluster, and everybody got mad and there was rage and all these other things. At what point does this settle down where people don't overreact when some of these numbers are first leaked? Because definitely once we added more detail, it got more narrow, right? It went from 5.1 guaranteed to 775 for 3 years.
Well, it sounds like now that we've entered the revenue share era, that information is going to have to be made public. So as far as what schools are paying out to the players, we should know that number, whatever that number is going to be, and then whatever the NIL number is on top of what they're getting from the rev share. That's the part I don't know that we'll ever know.
Yeah.
Because those are private deals that they're signing, and all we really can know is go off the good faith that this whole clearinghouse idea is going to make those deals legitimate, and they're not going to be illegitimate NIL crazy deals like the Wild Wild West.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I think we should know what the rev share number is, and I don't know. Maybe the Texas Tech guys in the chat room know better than anybody else what that number really is. I've seen it anywhere from 775K all the way up to 1.7 mil, and I think it's somewhere probably in between there. But
yeah,
I don't know.
The data I have is 3 years, 775 guaranteed, roughly 2.5 million. And then everything on top of that is like incentive bonuses, things that come for other reasons. And so 775 is still a lot of money. If you have 20.5 million to spend in a year, 775 out of your budget, that's roughly what, 5% of your entire budget, or more than that, 8% of your total budget. That can hurt pretty quickly, right? So it's not a small amount of money, but it's certainly not this all this bluster and people freaking out, and there's just no reason for that.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, what I kind of wondered was maybe it was accurately reported, but as far as the number, but not how he's getting paid out. Meaning, maybe he's getting 775K of rev share, which is great.
Yes,
that's a great number. And then maybe he's getting another $1 million on top of that out of some NIL deal that Texas Tech has kind of hooked him up with and helped him sign. And then I saw that it was kind of a staggered number, which would make sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to pay an incoming freshman as much as you'd want to pay him in year 3 when he's far better of a player.
Yeah.
So I saw them kind of having that front loaded or back loaded.
It is.
Which probably that would make perfect sense to me of how you'd want to pay him. But anyway, yeah.
I think it's really what we need to do is you and I need to be celebrating these big pickups because they're all making Big 12 look very good. All the 4-star and 5-star people we can get in the Big 12 is just going to raise our competition level, and hopefully that leads to more people watching games.
Yeah, I mean it's great, but right now it's pretty on par though for Big 12 teams as far as what we're getting. I mean, Utah's gotten, over the last 10 years, roughly between 4 and 8 4-star players is about kind of where we've landed.
Right.
Which is good, but it's, it definitely makes the conference competitive. But if you look at the upper middle to the top end of the P2, I mean, they're littered with 13 4-star and 3 5-star, and then you know what I mean. It's just it's tough. It's tough. It's, but I agree with you. We need to celebrate. We need to get as much talent as we can in the conference, but I'm not really seeing much of an uptick as far as, Big 12 versus P2 or anything like that.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't comparing at all. No, I'm just saying in a vacuum, we just need to improve without even doing any comparison to the other conferences.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But we're about what, 57 days out now from the season.
Something like that. Yeah.
We'll be able to throw some elbows around in the chat room for another 55 days until we get real games to talk about. But
right, yeah. Well, this
right
phone thing,
stuff.
this phone thing is going to be my new toy, so I've got something to play with.
Hey, it's like, have you got? I just joined the call late, but have you gotten any of the tech guys on the line? You got to get
no.
Big Lubbock to call in, or
he said he's at an event.
I'd love to hear from him.
Yeah, I did too. I would love to have Big Lubbock. No, he's away from he's out somewhere listening. So I wanted him to join. He said he just couldn't do it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm doing my best to defend him. So probably not doing a good job.
You got to get MBM to call after me, because I'd love to hear what Oklahoma State's up to. And I know, we're always trading jabs and stuff back and forth, and he,
right.
But I would like to hear what Oklahoma State's up to.
Well, there you go.
They need a big bounce back here, so we need to hear from them.
Okay, MBM, pick up the phone. Call. Steele's going to be gone.
I'll let the people call in, man.
All right, thanks so much. Appreciate it, Steele. It's great to see you.
Good to talk to you, Bomber.
Have a great weekend.
You too. See you. Bye.
Bye.
You too.
Let's get some claps there. Woohoo! Steele Austin in the house, representing the University of Utah up on the hill in Salt Lake City. Appreciate you. It's great to see you, Steele. I hope you have a safe and productive weekend with your family. We did have a bomb drop while we were in the middle of that. So Ryan Willie did 5 gifted memberships. I just want to say, Ryan, you're a stud. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for doing everything you do for us, your membership, and also giving memberships out. Thank you so much. I believe in karma. You will be paid back. And in that regard, everybody who received a gifted membership, I would encourage you to consider giving it forward. Pay that forward. Give somebody else a membership and help us build this thing back up as we go into the season. It's a lot of fun what we do around here, and we certainly respond to requests. So if there's stuff you want us to cover, just let us know. But thank you so much, Ryan Willie. The people who got those gifts are Jansen Roberts, Timothy Green, WV Wildman 82. I'm going to guess that's West Virginia Wildman. John D. Good to have you back, John D. John Metzler. Good to see you. Metzer. Sorry, not with an L. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight, getting those gifted memberships. Thank Ryan in the comment section. Please let him know you appreciate the gifted membership. And then consider giving somebody else one. Pay it forward. I believe in karma. You will get double the good back if you pay forward what you've received for free. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really, really appreciate you. Let's see here. So I have got probably another 20 minutes or so. So at this point, I've got 28 comments already flagged. So I'm happy to go through those. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay to have a super chat, but certainly if you want to be felt or heard, make it a super chat, and I will definitely bring it up, and we will talk about it here collectively. Let's see, 801-899-6203. Call me right now, and let's do some feedback talk. I want to hear negatives. Call me and tell me I'm wrong, or better yet, call me and tell me I'm right. I like hearing my ego loves to be stroked. I promise you that is a good thing. Let's see here. Nitwit said the phone interaction works great. Call in, folks. Thank you so much for calling in, Nitwit. I really, really appreciate you, brother. Let's see here. Get to Mike Snodgrass. Good to have you here, Mike. I know I've seen you before. Thanks for being here today. And make sure you subscribe and you follow me on Twitter and everything else. New listener, thanks for the added information on Ojo. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you. And yeah, that's what we do around here. We try to provide analytics, data, and then we sprinkle in our own editorial on top of that. But yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for being here. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. We build this thing one membership at a time. We're shooting for 5,000 subs by the end of I guess we're almost through summer, but by the end of the summer, we need another 500 subs or so. So if you're watching right now, and I know there's a bunch of you that aren't subscribed, hit the sub button and please join us. We would appreciate you around here doing that. Brickbat has become a new member. Thank you so much, Brickbat. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here today. Brickbat's become a new member. I would encourage any new members to, after the show's over, go to the College Football Mafia page and go to our library of shows. And the last 3 months, we have covered almost every topic that has to do with college sports. We've covered it. Legal. We've talked about the House settlement until we're blue in the face. We've talked about all the legal consequences around the College Sports Commission and the Deloitte Clearinghouse, and then realignment. We've covered all that this summer and spring. So I would encourage everybody, if you become a new member after I'm done, stick around on the College Football Mafia page and watch some of those videos. Not all of them are live shows that go a long time. There's some really good ones, especially the ones with the lawyers on the Consigliere show. I would encourage you to watch those because it's not me talking, it's lawyers talking. And they're talking about House and everything else. So thank you so much, Brickbat. I really, really appreciate your new membership. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Mike Snodgrass, I appreciated him being here tonight. Lubbock says, I'm in the middle of a card game. Can't call in. So we'll have to do Texas Tech a different day. All right, Lubbock, we will have to do Texas Tech a new day. I promise. Daniel Dilly says, if Texas Tech can't develop and coach the players, all the talent they're getting will be wasted opportunity. Of course, that's true. Got to strike while the iron's hot. There's no doubt about it. And any Big 12 school, you guys are all performing right now, if not for the P2, certainly for maybe what might come next in college sports. I don't think you want to miss that wave. That's why I think right now Texas Tech is spending money and investing in that next 4 to 5 years to try to be in a position where somebody comes along and says they want them. Texas Tech people say, at least some say, we want to stay in the Big 12. Well, we just want to raise the Big 12 up. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. We did have, I'm sorry, I spaced who represented Texas Tech in the early part of the show, but that guy was right. And what he's talking about is we all benefit in the Big 12 if Texas Tech stays in the Big 12, if BYU stays in the Big 12, if Utah stays in the Big 12, if Kansas State stays, everybody stays in the Big 12, and then we just get stronger together. There's no doubt about it. Let's see here. Jason says, Bomber, what are you going to get? When are you going to give your official 2025 Big 12 football predictions? We're a few weeks away from that. Jason, sorry. We're a few weeks away from that. Still got new stuff we got to cover. This recruiting stuff popped up out of nowhere, become a big deal. So that's probably where I'm going to be for the next few weeks. But by August, certainly, I think we'll have a preview show for everybody. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Rob Ellen, another valuable member, Clemson in the house. Clemson Tigers. Rob Ellen, representing Clemson and the College Football Mafia family. Thank you so much. Is Texas Tech trying to grow their student enrollment? It's a great question. I think they probably are. You know, Greg Flugar says the front porch of your university is your athletic department, specifically your football program. If you want to grow your enrollment, that's the way to do it, is balls out on your sports, specifically football and basketball. Texas Tech's doing it in both, by the way, and softball. So in my opinion, Texas Tech right now is auditioning for that next step. Good comment, Rob. Appreciate it. Still Austin, and that talent will transfer. Yes, if you lose, the talent will leave you. It's nothing personal. It's just business. Let's see. Jason says Sacramento State is currently number 2 in college football recruiting rankings in 2027. I didn't even know they had a team. Jason, I don't know if you heard me earlier. Sacramento State for 2026 signed a 4-star receiver. And they didn't even play big-time football. Well, big-time. They play FCS football currently. They can't get a waiver to even join FBS. And they got a 4-star receiver. What does that tell you? It tells you everybody's auditioning. I promise everybody is auditioning. There's no doubt about it. BYU football, Shonsky, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying bonuses are how programs are cheating the salary cap. I don't know if I wouldn't call it cheating. Schools that offer guaranteed contracts, is that cheating? If you have to count those numbers against your salary revenue share for the next year, why is it cheating? I think guaranteeing roster spots and money, that's how you're going to win recruiting battles. I don't think that's cheating at all. We just disagree, I guess, Shonsky. I think you should be able to earn bonuses. Go out and it's merit-based, right? You earn it, you get rewarded. That's my opinion. But I appreciate what you're saying, Shonsky. Thank you so much for your comment. James Davis in the house. Good to see you, James. It's been a minute. Appreciate you being here today. Getting 1 or 2 good players does nothing for you if the rest of the team is not there. You need an entire team to win. James Davis knows ball. Of course you're right. Of course you're right, James. Yep. Of course you're right. Nitwit says all chips in the middle of the table for 2030-31. I would agree with that. I've said that many times on Twitter. That sentiment, I definitely agree with. Jason Spang, well, if they aren't doing anything for NIL money, then it is cheating, yes. Well, yeah, again, they got to do it the right way. And there are ways to do NIL, and it's not cheating. There are legal ways to do it. I hate how these conversations come up, and it's not right now, but conversations come up in social media that if one is going on, that it necessarily means this other thing is going on, when that might not be true at all. Just because one thing's happening doesn't mean the other thing has to necessarily move. A lot of these things can be taken in isolation. I don't think guaranteed contracts should count against. It's not cheating, in my opinion. I don't think performance bonuses is cheating. I also don't think $12 million salaries for college players is necessarily cheating. You find an advertiser that can justify paying them for X, Y, and Z work. That's what professional athletes have been doing forever. You don't have anything controlling your athletes because you don't have a CBA. You don't want to pay them as employees. So you want all the benefits of not having your players in a CBA and employees without any of the responsibilities. That's college football right there. It's the simplest way to put it. The A4, NCAA, they want all the benefits of a salary cap, controlling movements, transfer portal rules, all those things with the players without giving them the ability to protect themselves. How's that okay? It's not okay out in the workforce. Why are we okay with it in college? I am not a 5-star defensive end. If I was a 5-star defensive end, I would do everything I could to earn this money. Everybody's just assuming they're going to be lazy and not do anything. You know, the exemplar, Google AJ DeBonsa. Google AJ DeBonsa. On X, it's AJ_DY, if I get it right. Look him up on Twitter, and you tell me from his social media profile on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, all across, that he's not bringing value for the money they're giving him to go to BYU. Not one thing that I've seen that he's doing doesn't deserve it. And he's getting paid by Nike Jumpman, by the way. BYU's a Nike Jumpman school in large part because AJ DeBonsa was Nike Jumpman. Nike Jumpman is not the same as Nike. If your school does not have the little Jumpman logo next to the Nike swoosh, You are not a Nike Jumpman differentiator. You're not. And I don't know what the pay scale difference is, but I know Jumpman pays a lot more money than regular Nike does. I mean, these are facts. I'm telling you stuff that's facts. People can argue and get upset, but I mean, I just say go argue with a wall because there's nothing I'm saying that isn't true. Okay, last call out for phone calls. If you want to join the show, call me as my phone number comes across. I'm going to have to write that down. Phone number is 801-899-6203. Join me right now. It's a regular phone call. There's no hyperlink. You don't have to turn on your camera, and we'll just talk. And I think it's worked really well today. Just ask everybody who's called in the comments. I think it's gone really, really well. Still Austin, nice. Is it finished or is it a phased project? I'm not sure what he's talking about. Oh, talking right here. Is KU playing in their new stadium this year? They're talking about football. Talking about the football stadium. Kansas has got a new stadium. Well, it's not necessarily new. It's added. They just redid it in essence. Jason Spangler, yes, Cooper Flag was in a ton of commercials. You can make a lot, but there needs to be follow through by both sides. Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said at all. I think you're right. Shonsky, he's guaranteed only up to $775 against the salary cap. They are going to pay this kid $250 million in bonuses that exceed the cap. Nothing wrong with it, but that's how they're going to exceed the salary cap. Yeah, maybe, Shonsky, I don't know if that's true or not. Until it happens, I'm not going to say that's for sure going to happen. I'm going to assume that they're going to do it the right way. I'm going to err on the side of grace. If they think something will work a particular way, I think that's fine. And if it doesn't, then you hold them accountable. Well, if they aren't doing anything for NIL money, then it is cheating. Yes, of course. I never said anything opposite. Morris Simmons, where have you been, brother? Florida State in the house. Good to have you here, Morris. Hello, everyone. Go Noles 2027. Yeah, pointing to Florida State. Going somewhere by 2027. Not sure where yet. Good to have you here, Morris. You can see my phone number, 899-6203. 801-899-6203. If you want to join the show, there's a bunch of new people that have just joined. I don't know, 50 people just joined all of a sudden. If you're watching on Twitter, go over on YouTube. Don't close down Twitter, but open up on another link on your computer or on your phone. Go to YouTube, College Football Mafia, and hit the subscribe button. We're like 350 people watching now, and I'm not seeing the thumbs ups, the likes, and the subscriber numbers to be going through the roof. So if you're not subscribed, I'm holding you accountable because it's free. Just hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell next to it. And then follow me on Twitter, all those things right there. Good to have you here, Morris. It's great to see you. There's an enormous neighborhood development that's still being argued through. Oh, we're still talking about the Kansas Stadium. Okay. I don't know that we've had anything new. Last call. Any new comments that I haven't gotten to? I'm giving you an opportunity. You can ask right now. I think I've gotten to almost, and there's a couple others I had flagged. I don't know who we're talking about there, so I'm not sure what to say about that one. Jesus Penguin, people need to manage their expectations regarding national championships. The last new team to win a football national championship was Washington in 1990. And peace out on that. That is a fact. I know because I'm a Washington fan. I was ecstatic when that happened. But yes, the system's broken. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Let's see. Steele says neighborhood development. That sounds crazy. Very cool to hear. Stadium is complete. Jayhawks fans must be excited. Yep, I would agree. I'm excited for the Jayhawks stadium. I think it should be cool. All right. Last call for phone calls, 801-899-6203. Almost went 2 hours, guys. This has been awesome. Nobody wants to call in. Don't have anything else. I've talked to you under the table, have I? I didn't mean to do that. I hope everybody's enjoyed the show. I want you to have a great rest of your weekend. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Mowing After Dark will be here with Rock and Rant, the mighty Miami Hurricane fan. They will be talking about something, who knows what it is, tomorrow at 8 p.m. right here on this channel. And then next week, I'm going to do another midweek show. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be. I've said that now for 2 weeks, I know. But it's been tough to narrow down the people that I need to have. I don't want to just come on and just be me. Today I was loaded with a bunch of stuff about Texas Tech that did the whole show, right? That was easy. I don't just join a show and then just say, here, give me your attention and money. I'm not going to take advantage of you that way. So I appreciate everybody coming on, all the super chats. Let me get to the super chats. New members, Brickbat, thank you so much for that. Ryan Willie, thank you so much for all of those gifted memberships. I will get to, let's see, the new members, Jansen Roberts, Timothy Green, West Virginia Wildman 82, John D, and John Mentzer. Thank you so much for being here, guys. $5 super chat here from the great Ryan Willie. And then last but not least, there was a $10 super chat from the OG, the godfather of everything we do around here. Peek around the corner, Greg Flugar. Check him out on Twitter and on YouTube. And I think that's going to probably close us out. I don't think there's anything else. I want everybody to have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for helping me do my first call-in show. I am just tickled that this worked, and I did it all for you guys. So we're going to do this more. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I would just tell everybody, when you spell Cougars, it has to start with BYU. We'll see you later.